Mr. Ayers was talking about on financing, it's not really a financing, when the county received the $653,000 in CARES Act money, that was how the state put it to us, we had to turn in all the first responders' pay to get all that money reimbursed, and then the county could use it how we needed. What we did with that is we reimbursed all a lot of that overtime, $30,000 to the health department, I can't remember what.
Carol Manor. and
Carol Manor, the
County General got some.
county general got some, we purchased the sprayers, we purchased the health department stuff, the mobile operations center and that. There was some money left over. That CARES committee had, we still got some in reserves, like 252,000 something. It was discussed that we could hold some of that in reserve for the purchase of the building.
Is that sitting in county general?
It's in a fund, I can't remember what it
Isn't it in
is.
the CARES fund, isn't it?
There's a line, I can't remember
We
the,
had to reimburse rainy days, I'm not sure if it's in rainy day or in CARES.
but there is a line, and I can't remember what it's called.
We haven't messed with it for like a year.
I know.
And then, so there's a good portion of it there already. I don't know if that will cover all, I don't know. I know that we spend a lot of money, and I'm gonna go speak a little bit for the corner, and I'm probably speaking for her. We spend a lot of money storing our deceased systems in other counties. We spend a lot of money on autopsies out of county. And
It's not gonna change.
Yeah, I don't think you can make an economic argument for more. I mean, that's just personally, I mean, the mathematics don't work, but I mean, that's a whole other thing, but,
That's how I vote.
but, Mr. Ryder's called for question, calling for question would be limited as debate. Does anybody want to stop debate? All those in favor of stopping debate? Motion fails. Debate remains open. Is there any other discussion? Please come back, Mike. I will, just had to entertain his motion for the question.
The unfortunate situation of COVID is that COVID really stunk. But the positive side of it is that we got millions, or I mean, I don't know how many thousands of dollars in equipment, and it's sitting out there. On top of the problem we've had with before COVID hit, without all this equipment. And if a building, I always had said, if a building arises, we need to look into it. This is not something that we just needed in the last few months, I mean, we're talking years, so.
Well, I mean, we have land.
You gonna build something?
This is my property. We can build a pole barn for $100 a square foot right now. Okay? So if this building's $300 a square foot, why does that make sense?
Okay, you just said it. You don't know what it's gonna be, so let's get the appraisals and let's move forward.
We can get a very good indication regardless of the appraisals about what this person values their property at. And if this person values their property at $300 a square foot and will not sell it for less than how they value it, then we're wasting taxpayers' dollars getting an appraisal that is not gonna do anything.
Does he have any other offers currently on the building?
So what you're wanting
And that's
from
what
the,
happened to the Camden property.
exactly, so
We
what
waited
you're
and
wanting
waited
is
and
you're
waited.
wanting this property owner to tell you what he wants for it. And then you're gonna
Yes.
allow, then you're gonna allow for appraisal to go through, and do you not think that that property owner has the right to adjust his amount wanted from?
He absolutely does.
Okay, then that just
But why-
disregard, he could give you a number of 250,000 and the appraisals come back at 450, and then that's still the same end result that you're asking for.
No.
Why is it not?
What I've said it a couple times, I'll be really clear. He's gonna value his real estate. He's not gonna sell it regardless of what our appraisal comes back for. He's got a number in his head of what it is worth to him,
Okay,
okay?
So if he, I'm sorry to interrupt, sir, but if he says that it's gonna take $275,000 I'm just throwing a number out there, okay? If he says it's gonna take 275,000. But our average of our two appraisals come back at 350, that's our average.
Right.
He's gonna change his price to the
Well,
350. I'm just,
it's not gonna go anything but up once the appraisal, I mean, because he's got a number that's worth. So my point is if he comes back and his number is $200 a square foot, and we can build for $100 a square foot, and we own our own land, why would we entertain buying property? We just wasted $5,000 of taxpayer money.
He's not gonna see the appraisal before there's an offer. I mean, the commissioners, it's up to commissioners to handle it the way they want to, but I'd be surprised if that.
Well, I mean, yeah, I mean, my point remains the same, his asking price. Right. So, I mean,
Which 15,000 square foot building at $100 a square foot, that's $1.5 million. And, right, we're not even dreaming of $1.5 million.
that's not right, is it?
15,000 square
Oh,
feet
yeah,
times 100 is
yeah,
$1.5 million.
right.
So we're way less.
so, to do a comparison, I can't remember if it was a council member or a commissioner that asked me to do this. So I called Morton Buildings, I called FBI Buildings, and I called a local builder. Morton's usually considered like the Cadillac of the builders in this area, FBI's right there with them, and then the local ones a little bit. The local guy couldn't build one as big. The building that I had him scope out was about 3,000 square foot bigger than what this one is. Not including concrete, blown insulation, electrical, mechanical, or, let me see, electrical, mechanical, and something else. It was $1.2 million, depending on the time that we built, not including site prep or any other architectural things. And that was last one.
That we're way over.
I'm just, I don't know, like I said, I can't remember who asked me to do that, but that was it. And I know those,
Address of this building?
It's right here.
5810 9th Street, it's WP Electric.
Is there any further debate on the motion on the floor? Okay, call for vote, all those in favor, aye?
Can we restate the
Wait,
motion?
sorry, excuse me.
Sorry, restate the
The
motion.
motion is to approve resolution 2021-101 to, basically authorize the commissioners to move forward with, appraisals of the property. In question. All those in favor, aye? Aye. We have 6 opposed, aye. Motion carries 6-1. I know. Okay, any other business for the council today?
I have some on the side of the ordinance.
Oh.
I'd like to revisit the area plan, and I would like to, give her that $1 an hour, which would bring her up to the $16.60. And then also, do I do them one at a time?
You made that motion at the last one. You can't make the same motion. Well, you
Well,
make
it's
the
not a
same motion
motion,
to different.
I'm bringing up the salary ordinance. We
Yeah, I
said
don't know
we
what
were
the
gonna.
motion is.
She had made a motion that failed at the last meeting to increase.
Last meeting?
Yes.
You're good, this
Okay.
meeting,
Yep.
clean slate, you
Okay.
do what you want at this meeting.
Okay.
But in the last meeting, I was told that we could change the salary ordinance.
Change your salary ordinance anytime.
So I would like to, change the salary ordinance and give her that $1 an hour, and which brings her up to the $16.60, which is comparable to the office managers of the extension and the highway.
Okay. Is that the only change you'd like to make, or is that a
Well,
motion?
that's the only change I have, except for I have, heard numerous times about, a base pay of when people leave a position that they want. When you hire someone in, of a person that has left 20 years ago, they are hiring in with that person that left at the same amount. So I am inquiring on whether it would be in this council's interest to start a base pay, to where when someone leaves after 20 years, they don't hire in at that 20-year pay, that they would revert back to a base pay. And in return, the council or future councils would have to like visit those base pays. And that would also stop people from possibly going from department to department when they see there's, a $2, $3 more position, then they would be hired in at a base pay.
So would this 2022 salary ordinance be the base pay, or are you saying that we would establish a base pay?
When I was thinking of it, I was thinking of 2021 being the base pay, but that is for the council as a whole to decide.
Just as a question to that, would we have to create an addendum, and this would be for you too, Eric, would we attach a copy of the 21 salary ordinance and say all salaries these are the base salaries from the 2021 ordinance?
For 2022?
Forever.
Well, you either do that, or you just put it in each line, you just put another column, base salary is, so then it's carried forward. You can have a range, and a lot of ways you can do it, but base is something that is used often, but you also can have a range, someone will be set. Someone can be hired in a range, obviously starts with a base, but if the person's got enough experience, you can hire them in above the base, and that's all a very, I won't say complicated, but it's a labor-intensive effort to get all those things lined up.
So it'd be a different base pay than like what the sheriff has, first year they're a base pay. So it'd be different, right? So what you're saying?
Well, yeah, it would need to be really clear, because, I can just see this being a nightmare for the auditor's office, because we have a salary ordinance that's for everybody that exists on January 1st, or is to be hired. No, that's only for who's actually here.
Right.
And then you have a whole nother salary ordinance, basically, for anybody that gets hired during that calendar
You
year.
just,
No, on each one of these,
Right, you
It's
just
just
have
another
another
column.
column.
It's just another column.
It would say base, right?
So when the incumbent leaves, then you go, oh, okay, well, they were making 12, now this person's down at the base because of rent.
take for example your clerk. On the clerk, you would have a base pay underneath the first clerk, and that would be your, you would just have a base pay for each position.
So each position.
Well, yeah, you have to have a base pay for each position.
I'm just asking questions.
Yeah.
Just procedurally, I think there was a motion, I believe.
Was there?
No,
Well,
I
Just
just,
for the-
oh, you
I
didn't
just
wanna
wanted
make
to,
the up motion.
I just wanted to
I'm sorry.
discuss it.
Why don't we handle them separately, like, make your first motion, please,
On the salary ordinance.
on the,
All right, so I would like to make a motion to, do the area plan, office manager, $1 more an hour, bring her to 1660.
I'll second that.
1660?
And that's for the 20.
2022.
Motion made by Tracy Martin, second by Ethan Brown to change the salary ordinance to 1660 for the area plan office manager, is that correct?
And just to be clear, this is exactly what we chose not to do at budget time, and it's what we voted down last month. So we
Correct.
wanna revisit this a third time.
Yep.
Okay,
Because at the
just for
last meeting, you
clarification.
told me that we could do the salary ordinance, and that the budget was already ready for adoption, and there was no time for changes.
I don't think I said that, but.
Well,
I did say that.
somebody said that.
So that's the motion.
Yes.
Did you get a second?
There was second by,
Thank you.
so,
Her name, it'd be office administrator,
yeah, that's what
not manager.
Okay.
Administrative assistant, is that what
I
you're?
think it's office admin, I was just looking.
and you said that would be comparable with the county highway gal.
He amended that when he came up with his job description.
Oh, okay, I was just going off the one you just gave us.
Well, it's written in on,
And it says administrative assistant on the salary.
Administrative assistant to the
but it's not.
Yeah,
I have it. It's amended, written in. My good buddy here told me all I had to do is write them in and initial it and put the date.
So what is
As
it?
long as it's changed.
It's changed.
What's its legal name?
Office administrator.
Got it.
It will be changed on your new.
Tim, did I cut you off? I'm sorry.
No,
Okay. Yeah, we've debated this at nauseam. So, there's,
Question.
you're calling for questions? Can I finish my statement?
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off, I thought you were.
So anyway, I mean, I would just implore the council to, like, take an action and stick with it and not debate it over and over and over and over again. So, that's my 2 cents, so. Doc is called for question. Is there, all those in favor of, limiting debate or closing debate? Aye. Opposed, same sign. All the questions answered, and we'll call for vote. All those in favor of increasing the pay rate to $16.60, indicate by saying aye. Opposed, same sign. Aye. Motion fails 3-2.
Okay, the aye, or the nays were who? Raise your hand, please.
Doc, no.
Got it.
Okay, is there any other business for the council?
Are you gonna talk about this base pay?
Oh, I'm sorry.
I agree with her, it should be the 21 base salary.
I mean, does anybody else on the council have any discussion about it? I mean, have they heard from other department heads about this these situations, or, any other feelings on it? The only reason I'm bringing it up is because I kind of agree with it. If somebody's here 20 years and they leave, the next person walking in is gonna get a 20-year or experience pay, and they may not, in the world that we live in today, they may not have that 20 years here or that experience. So why should they walk in making what the person is?
And I certainly don't disagree. I would wonder if you're taking a higher priced employee, let's say a first, and second deputy, and they leave, oftentimes, at least I think in my experience, oftentimes they will promote from within their group already and just move someone who's already working at the county or in their department up to that increased responsibility
That's an
level.
interesting point. You could theoretically get promoted and make less money.
Potentially, yes, potentially.
If you're going into the base pay,
Yeah.
you could have a deputy that's been here. for
But
a
would you
long time.
lose, would you maintain the years of service already that you've created? Not in that position, but with that department or within, and you said, Tracy, that oftentimes people will go from this department to that department for $1.50, $2 more. Does that often happen?
It's happened several times.
Well, it
Has it?
happened
Okay.
a lot this year, but on the other hand too, anybody can apply for this job, so I mean, it's not just willy-nilly.
I agree
But-
100% with what Tracy's saying, and that you shouldn't start with what somebody's been there 20 years, but I think the department heads, you gotta get more credit.
so we have
Anyway,
departments that have incremental increases based on years of service. Those are already established. Where we don't, we're consistently told that we pay based on an established job description. So, given proper training, anybody would be able to perform the duties outlined in the job description, whether they're in their first year or their 6th year or their 7th year. The requirements of that job stay the same. We don't pay based on the person or how long they've been here. We pay based on the duties of the job description. And so for that reason, I don't know that we need to set a base and then level up for everybody in the county, other than where we already have it established, sheriff's deputies, 911 operators, those types of departments. Because we pay based on job description.
Based on job description there too. In the sheriff's office.
But we have a precedent established
No,
where
I agree, I mean, and I think that's really ultimately the crux of what we're saying is, you know, should we have something that walks across like longevity? And if we do, how do you establish that? And I agree with you that he's brought up a good point, and I don't know how you get around that. But do you see what could happen in that situation that he's talking about? So, I mean.
I don't see that being very often, I mean, maybe
So, well, I mean, here's
not
a,
within the department, but
well,
across
I mean,
departments.
here's a good example, the first deputy, and I didn't think about any of this until this, he just brought this up, the first deputy is a political one. So,
Okay. This is something that I could send on to our personnel advisory committee.
we haven't done anything,
Pardon?
that's a thing we do with it? It was reestablished?
That's not what I meant our advisor can't earn one.
Consultant.
Oh, our HR consultant, you said personal advisory committee.
I was going to say advisor at the end here, you know, because he is our personnel policy advisor.
Can't run this office,
Okay,
Yeah.
anyway.
sorry.
I would.
Several counties do it,
And just
and I'd
see
like
what
to
he would-
see how it,
see
how
what
the
he would-
different options are that it works.
See what his
Let's do
suggestion
that.
would be or whatever. In the comments.
Let's send it on, let's ask Beth to send it,
For a little more.
clarification.
Because we have them set for 2022, and who knows when somebody's gonna hire in, so this is something that we could get more information on, find out different ways the different counties work them, and then establish it, if we can change the salary limits at a later date.
I can also send it out to this auditor association.
Great.
And Tracy, I certainly don't disagree. I think it's a good idea.
I agree with you 100%.
And like Josh coattailed my comment, you know, if we maintain that where, you know, you're new into the job and you're gonna get this much less, maybe that would have to be a choice of that person coming from another department to take that job, knowing full well they're gonna get less pay.
And also too, I mean, how do these other counties and that, I mean, review this? To me, I would think it would have to be reviewed annually or every 2 years, because, you know, you don't know the cost of living increases that are going up each year, and like, we don't know the raises that we're getting each year if we do, so I'd like to get more information on it. And once again, I'm just bringing information to you, what I've heard from my department heads, and
Good.
so
Makes sense.
So you want me to do Kentnerland and, or not?
Yeah, and the auditors group.
I hate to be, and I've got one more thing. On the backside of the salary limits, we always put these, the listings, you know how the formulas are. Somehow the one for the commissioners and council was taken, was deleted. So is it the recorder's salary divided by 2 equals the commissioner's
President.
salary? That's where was mine. Commissioner's salary divided by 2 equals the council president's salary, but it's the commissioners divided by 2, or is the commissioner's president divided by 2?
Commissioner's president divided by 2 is the council president, and then all other members of both bodies get paid $1,000 less
Yeah,
than.
I got that. Yes. Thank you, that's it.
Motion adjourned.
Motion to adjourn. Is there a second? Oh, sorry, what?
I just wanted to hand out some information and address any questions if there were any, because of what I heard. This is a copy of the cash book as well as the monthly comparison report for 2020, 2021. The difference is in the investment line, I just wanna make sure everybody's clear on that.
I have all the 20 reports. You want me to
Sorry.
take one and pass it down?
Yeah.
Okay.
Did I put those together? Does everybody have a 20 and a 21?
I don't have.
Here's the 20. Okay, you'll notice, if you look at the 2020, there were investments. And the 2.9 million.
I don't think I have 20. Do I just have 21?
I'll get it for you.
Okay.
Okay, the 2020, and you notice in the cash book 2020, there was $2.9 million in investment. In 2021, there are no investments. So the funds ledger number includes that 2.9 million. In 2020, when there are investments, the investments are not included in the funds ledger. And I think there was some confusion about this years back between the council, but with the council, so I just wanna make sure y'all are up on how that works. And if you would like to review those, and let me know if there's any confusion about it, please let me know.
I would like to piggyback on that. What's going on is that the assessor was worried that Jackie had mentioned her CD, and it was just a misspoken word. Not once did we discuss CDs in our budgets, and it did not affect the budgets at all, so you guys knew that that was in their lines, so that's where this is coming from.
Okay?
Second.
Steve, give an extra copy of the 21.
What did I not give you?
20. Okay, unless that's it.
I have a motion and a second to adjourn. All those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Ethan Brown, Paul Ryder.
Uh,
No.
Thank you. Good to see you.
Here's the one, you get the monthly comparison?
Yeah,
Okay, I'll
yeah,
get that.
okay.
Is it Monday at 8:30? 8:30.
You know what I'm talking about?
So about to be 9 months on the 24th, so yeah, he's getting huge.
That's him right there. He's a character. He got a truck yesterday, so said he could, it's a little walker.
You got it.
Yeah. And so he thought that was pretty fancy.
That's a walker.
Yeah.
Get the wife strong.
Oh, yeah. Uh-huh.
Monday at 9 or 10?
I had a little Jeep when I was a kid.
They're awful
Yeah.
cool.
Oh, yeah.
But Halloween, walker ones are a heck of a lot better.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, I think you had that in the comment, didn't you?